While it definitely does not come as a surprise, Sega's most famous video game will come back with another live-action adaptation, something that was confirmed by the studio even before Sonic the Hedgehog threequel hit the screens. Yes, you heard me. Paramount Pictures have already started prepping for Sonic the Hedgehog 4 as we speak. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie series, based on Sega's iconic gaming franchise, has been a wild ride so far, and the latest installment has really taken things to the next level. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 brings back Sonic and his pals, Tails and Knuckles, as they face their toughest challenge, yet with not one, but two generations of Dr. Robotnik and their new ally, the incredibly powerful Shadow the Hedgehog. And what's Shadow's mission, you ask? Well, it's nothing less than the destruction of the entire world. This third chapter basically amps up the stakes and shifts the franchise into more dramatic territory, deservingly earning high praise from critics for its bold storytelling, while retaining all the fun and excitement that we fans love. And of course, with the introduction of Shadow, the franchise has teased even more familiar faces in its ending, leaving us buzzing with anticipation. Plus, with such a strong reception, it comes as no surprise that a fourth movie is already in the works. Even if Sonic the Hedgehog 4 might still be a ways off, it is very clear the team is revving up for another epic adventure to bring this beloved gaming universe back to the big screen. So, without wasting another moment, let's dig into what we can expect from the next Sonic film to hit our screens.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
How is Sonic the Hedgehog 3 rolling at the theaters? Although it has not even been a week to the threequel's release, the creators of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 expect it to top the box office with $55 million to $60 million from around 3,800 North American theaters. So far, all I can say is that the film is shaping up to be a nice holiday season hit for Paramount, which is probably why the studio is so overtly interested in more Sonic adventures. Internationally, the film opened in 52 markets on Christmas. Plus, the critics have also liked the latest addition in the franchise, handing Sonic the Hedgehog 3 an impressive 87% fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes. Longtime fans are well aware of what a raving success the first two Sonic the Hedgehog movies have been, raking in a combined amount of $725.2 million at the global box office and driving over $180 million in home entertainment rentals and digital purchases. Their popularity even led to a spin-off series, Knuckles, which debuted on Paramount Plus earlier this year. Based on Sega's iconic video game franchise, which first launched back in 1991, all the Sonic films have been directed by Jeff Fowler from the start. But in my opinion, if you compare the new release to the other films, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is undoubtedly the best entry in the franchise yet. It sees the return of Jim Carrey as Sonic's nemesis Dr. Ivo Robotnik, along with Ben Schwartz as the voice of Sonic. But this time, Carrey takes on a second role as Dr. Robotnik's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. The star-studded cast also includes James Mars, Tika Sumpter, Idris Elba, and Colleen O'Shaughnessy. To top that off, in a major fan-pleasing move, Keanu Reeves joined the franchise as Shadow the Hedgehog, which is one of the most popular characters from the games. And so far, the decision of bringing in more gaming characters in the live-action remake has really paid off in favour of the franchise. I mean, critics have had plenty to say about the new release, with many praising its ability to deliver thrills for fans both young and old. One reviewer called it an action-packed blast from start to finish that should please even the prickliest Green Hill Zone groupies. Others noted the surprising upward trend in quality, because against all odds, the Sonic the Hedgehog movies apparently appear to be getting better as they go. So, if you have not watched it yet, I suggest you give it a chance, as Sonic possesses just enough of the requisite frenetic action sequences and silly jokes to keep small fry entertained while not boring their adult chaperones. What is the latest update on Sonic the Hedgehog 4? So, just a few days before Sonic the Hedgehog 3 hit theaters, some exciting news broke where Paramount made it clear they are fully committed to the franchise by officially green-lighting another sequel. While there were already floating rumors, this confirmed earlier reports that a fourth installment is in the works, and the studio revealed that Sonic 4 is set to speed into theaters in the spring of 2027. This announcement hints that the movie has been in development for some time and suggests that Paramount has a bigger master plan for the Sonic universe. With the production timeline lining up closely with the previous sequels, there is every reason for us to believe Sonic 4 will hit theaters right on schedule. While that means over 2 years of a waiting period, it sort of actually lines up perfect with the franchise's release pattern, as each sequel has arrived 2 years after its predecessor, starting with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in 2022, which followed the first movie's release in 2020. And by aiming for a spring 2027 release, Paramount is sort of diving into a competitive season. Although things could drastically shift in the next 2 years, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is already set to share the spotlight with some major blockbusters, because the next Godzilla and Kong movie is currently slated for March 26, 2027, and even Marvel's Avengers Secret Wars is scheduled for May 7th, 2027. But despite the stiff competition, Sonic 4 has the unique advantage of appealing to a different audience, and with its family-friendly charm and nostalgia factor, it is carving out its own lane, so these big-budget rivals might not pose much of a threat. Who should we expect to see in Sonic the Hedgehog 4? As we all know, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie franchise has done a great job of expanding its roster with each new installment and bringing fan-favourite characters from the games to life. So of course, this trend is expected to continue with Sonic the Hedgehog 4, especially after Sonic 3 introduced a few exciting newcomers in the post-credit scenes who are almost guaranteed to return. Fans can also look forward to seeing the core trio back in action, with Ben Schwartz as Sonic, Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Tails, and Idris Elba as Knuckles. As shown in the premise of the latest release, their bond only grew stronger after the events of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, thus setting the stage for even more teamwork and adventure. Although, the whole limelight at the end was the post-credits scene, in which revealed at the last moment that Shadow somehow survived the destruction of the Eclipse cannon, which means Keanu Reeves might be back to reprise the role once again. But as for Dr. Ivo Robotnik, it is still very unclear if Jim Carrey will return, because not only did Robotnik's fate seem sealed in Sonic 3, but Carrey also came out of retirement specifically for the film, so his involvement in the next installment remains a huge question mark. Meanwhile, human allies Tom and Maddie Wachowski, played by James Marsden and Tika Sumpter, are most definitely expected to return to lend their support to Sonic and his friends. But I think the major post-credits reveal was Metal Sonic and Amy Rose, who make very brief non-speaking cameos in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, thus teasing their potential involvement in future films. While we can also look forward to their potential return in Sonic 4, sadly, their roles haven't been cast yet, although in the games, these characters have been most recently voiced by Ray Chase as Metal Sonic and Cindy Robinson as Amy Rose, leaving us wondering if they might reprise their roles on the big screen after all. What will Sonic the Hedgehog 4 be about? So, the ending of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 left plenty of loose ends, and besides wrapping up a few storylines, it mostly set the stage for the next chapter in Sonic 4. In a surprising twist at the end, we see Dr. Ivo Robotnik and Shadow team up to stop the more dangerous Dr. Gerald Robotnik and save Earth from the Eclipse cannon. But their victory came at a cost, as both appeared to sacrifice their lives in the process. While it is revealed in the post-credits scene that Shadow survived, Dr. Robotnik's fate still remains uncertain, which in turn leaves the door open for potential repercussions in the sequel, as Sonic and his team navigate the fallout of losing their longtime nemesis, turned reluctant ally. However, there won't be much time for reflection, because in the mid-credits scene, Sonic found himself surrounded by an army of robotic doppelgangers, only to be saved at the last second by Amy Rose and her trusty hammer. Looking ahead to Sonic the Hedgehog 4, it seems likely the story will focus on Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and possibly even Shadow, as they team up to battle these robotic imposters while unraveling the mystery of who created them in the first place. I think the introduction of Amy Rose could bring some tension to the group dynamic as well. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles have always had a delicate balance, and adding a fourth member might really shake things up. Based on her character from the games, Amy could develop a crush on Sonic, which might make their already chaotic world-saving adventures more complicated. Meanwhile, We expect that the Wachowskis will likely continue to play a role, though Tom, having recovered from the events of Sonic 3, might be a little more hesitant to jump back into the action in Sonic the Hedgehog 4. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. I would love to hear if you guys have any insights on what we can expect from Sonic the Hedgehog 4. With that being said, did you guys like the new Sonic movie? It was definitely a rave for me, but do let us in on your thoughts and opinions in the comment box below.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.